Hello and welcome to the Sports Box, guys. And we have a very special guest today, a Liverpool fan, and the first time a Liverpool fan is coming on the Sports Box. My very good friend and a terrific footballer, a left winger, if I can call him, Tejas Shetty, and he's here to discuss Liverpool's title hopes, or the hopes that are fading or not fading. And City's match is live, by the way. So as we speak, Everton are facing City, and by the in the next couple of hours, we'll have an idea whether who will be on top of the league after 25 game weeks. And we also have Prithvi, my co-host, and we'll be also capturing a bit about the El Clasico, which is also about to start in the next few minutes. So. Right, Prithvi, let's begin with Tejas firstly. And Tejas, a pretty tough result against West Ham, and a result which now leaves title hopes open. In fact, I still believe y'all are 3 points ahead after and with the game in hand. I think if City win today, then your game in hand goes. Game in hand remains, but you'll remain 3 points ahead. So, what is your opinion? Firstly, about the season till date, and secondly, with 13 big games coming up in the Premier League, and the Champions League starts as well. What is your opinion? How do you see about this?
Firstly, thank you for the beautiful introduction. And secondly, see, the thing is that till now we have been playing well, absolutely fantastic. But the problem again is that City know how to win titles. Specifically, they know how to win the Premier League title. So now we had the 7 point gap, we had the chance to take it to 10 points, but unfortunately, we couldn't take it. So now ultimately, City are doing what they do best. They are back at it again. They have just got 3 points the gap. And yes, to be honest, as a Liverpool fan, it gets dicey sometimes because it's new to us that we haven't won the league since a very long time now. So yeah, it's good until now, but you never know. There's still 13 games in hand, and there's a chance for anything.
Right, and also, um, as you said, it's been good till date. So, and from what and I and Prithvi are discussing, and I'd like to get Prithvi in the discussion as well now. The best set of fixtures are yet Liverpool's, right? Till from now to the game week 38. Do you think, as a neutral, if Liverpool and City were going head to head, do you still think, because of the experience, it would matter this much?
I personally think that Liverpool were title favorites for a long, long time. I didn't want them to be because, it's been a long, long time since they won, and the fans are going to come all out and create a ruckus on social media if something like that happens. So, personally speaking, keeping all my biases aside, I was surprised by the way they actually performed so far in the season because I expected Man City to be runaway leaders again. I mean, not maybe with the same margin they did last season, but I still expected them to do reasonably well. But what has happened is that Liverpool have, first of all, defended really, really well. And I think Virgil van Dijk has been phenomenal. Robertson has been brilliant. And they mounted a very good title challenge so far. But the problem is, in the last few games I've watched Liverpool play, and they are struggling to create chances. I think they did strengthen in most of their peak departments, say the goalkeeper as well as the defenders, and they did but they've spent. I think they haven't spent really well in midfield. Naby Keita was really good with Leipzig, but I think that he hasn't really adjusted well to the league. And Fabinho has been pretty good. It took him a little while to get used to the pace of the league, but he's been pretty good. But I think they lack a spark in midfield because they have the best front three in the league. But I think that spark in midfield, which Coutinho had till January last season, they probably are missing that, and that is one of the primary reasons if Liverpool actually fall out of the title race. I think that the lack of creative midfielder would be the basic problem that Liverpool are facing.
Is goal scoring from the midfield an issue that you're seeing, especially coming to the business end of the season?
Was a question for me? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. My question was, is a goal scoring midfielder a problem area that you or a challenging area that you're seeing coming to the business end, because all your goals are scored by Mane, Salah, and Firmino, predominantly at least. So does that mean that if one of them has a bad game, or if they don't click, so do you think, because you all have been very decent defensively, so you all have done a good job there. So do you think that then becomes a challenge?
See, as far as I have observed Liverpool play for what about under Klopp about 3 to 4 years now, you know, Klopp has this heavy metal style of football that he prefers to go for gegenpress. So not really does he want an attacking midfielder, but he wants something who can make the game play, who can create the game. You know, we already have the likes of Salah, we already have Firmino, we already have Mane, we have the playmakers, and you know, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is out since a very long time. I'm pretty sure that once he's back, we will have the goals coming from midfield as well.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because Oxlade-Chamberlain, when he played for you all, he was very good, because he adds that um, like agility and thrust from the midfield. Having said that, you admittedly told us that City are favorites only because of the mentality.
Hmm.
Uh, do you see a chink in City's armor currently, Prithvi?
Yeah, no, see, the problem with City is that they had a pretty bad festive season. So they actually fell off the title race during that period wherein they lost two important games to Crystal Palace and Leicester. I think apart from that, they've been pretty good, and it's not that they didn't play well in those games. It's just that they weren't clinical enough. They didn't, and the shocking defeat against Newcastle. You know, who would have expected? They went up in the first minute, and then all of a sudden Rondon comes up with a winner, and Newcastle get 3 points and get out of the relegation battle as of now. So I think there have been a few slip ups from City, but what bothers me with respect to Liverpool is that the games that they've dropped points have been below par. And City have more or less been at around the same level and still drop points. So what is happening is that the games in which Liverpool actually drop points have been playing pretty poorly, and they've been really fortunate this season because a lot of officials have been in favor of Liverpool. I'm not saying there's a bias or a campaign going on, but the point is that there have been a lot of situations where the luck has favored them, and Salah has scored a couple of offside goals. He's there have been a few 50-50 penalty shouts that have gone their way, and that I still remember. I can't really get over that Van Dijk shot against Everton in the 94th minute, which Origi scored of, which was, I don't know, one from the heavens. I don't know how that actually went through, and I really couldn't believe what transpired. So I think luck has favored them, and 9 out of 10 times you feel that when a team is that lucky, they actually end up winning the title. But we also have to understand that they are up against one of the most phenomenal teams with respect to the attacking play, and I haven't seen a team dominate the scene since the likes of Manchester United in the late 2000 from 2007 to 2010, I think, before Chelsea actually won a season, and probably Jose Mourinho's team in the early 2000, 2004, 2005, and the Invincible. So what has happened for a lot of years that only, I think, for the past 5 years, I think no one has won back-to-back Premier League titles. But currently, if I look at any squad which could actually win two back-to-back titles, I think City is the only one, in my opinion, who could do that. So I think that it's unfortunate that Liverpool have been so good. I think they've surpassed a lot of expectations. But the only issue is that they are probably up against one of the strongest team in more than a decade, I think.
Right. Another point, and I go back to a lot of the managers that are coming up, and I would like to ask Tejas here. This Claudio Ranieri actually came up, and when he was asked a question, he said there are similarities in Liverpool in the same way that the way Leicester had actually at in terms of spirit, and he sees a lot of spirit in Liverpool. They might not have experience, and even Leicester did have, and a lot of teams have to start. And I'm acting as a devil's diplomatic advocate here, and because I feel. I, from my angle, and when I'm assessing my FPL squads, I'm assessing my game weeks. I tend to realize that Liverpool generally have very good fixtures. Even if you all have a blip 1 2 game weeks, you all still are in a very good position. So in terms of spirit, and as you said, Klopp has got that in a lot. Do you think you all are hence more determined to do and turn the tide? And one more point, and please extend this answer to this question too. Um, the, the kind of luck that you're getting, and as Prithvi said, the kind of luck that you're getting, the kind of victories that you're getting. Even Man City had, remember, I remember
Mhm.
they playing poorly and winning against Burnley. I remember them they playing poorly against Southampton and winning at home. So every title winning squad has that. So do you think that's just a part of the parcel?
Um, to be frank, I have seen the side that Brendan Rodgers had, and the transformation that Klopp has given us is absolutely phenomenal. We had we had a time where we faced Real Madrid with the likes of Ricky Lambert, Polo Torres, Simon Mignolet, and so. And now we have Alisson at goal. We have Salah Mane, Firmino as well. So there's a proper change that Klopp has shown to the club. Obviously, even it took Guardiola a few years to set the team that he has today. With a concrete Fernandinho in the heart of the midfield. He has Aguero. He took Silva. He made the team around them, and I guess Klopp is doing somewhat similar to him. He's just trying to make his team, adjust his team, and Navigator. Yes, I agree to the point that he's not been up to the mark, but at the end of the day, you can't judge a player just within 6 to 8 months, I guess. Luck factor, yes, definitely it plays a big role. We have the Everton goal, say, and we have been given 1 or 2 goals, offside goals, yes, but again, luck plays a big role because even Man City, if I'm not wrong, for the last season or whenever they won the title, even they had their shots of luck. So yes, that's the point.
Is there a player, and again I'll come back to Tejas here because I'll get Prithvi from the Man City angle. Is there a player, Tejas, you think is going to be extremely vital? I'm sure Salah and Van Dijk are one. Do you think, say perhaps Salah and Van Dijk are one? So do you think a Wijnaldum, uh, Henderson, Joe Gomez coming back, is that extremely critical now as your season enters the prime phase?
Joe Gomez definitely yes, because we had probably the best start to the season till now. We were 19 games undefeated, I guess, if I'm not wrong, until City knocked us off. So Joe Gomez was quite vital at the heart of the defense. He and Van Dijk got Alisson about 12 to 13 clean sheets. So I guess yes, Oxlade-Chamberlain another big addition to the side. If I'm not wrong, he has been included in the Bayern Munich game for the Champions League.
Oh, okay.
He is going to be a critical man, but for the Wijnaldum again, completely underrated player. I love him to bits. He is absolutely underrated. He controls the midfield. He gets you the ball back. He, I can't call him that. I can't say that he plays like Kante, but he wins the ball. He distributes his nicely. So in my opinion, probably Gomez and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain would be one of the best, to come back earlier as possible.
That's actually a very good point he makes. Wijnaldum is Liverpool's Conte. Coming to the point to you, Prithvi, do you think City are now they've got the whole squad back? They've got everyone. He has so much strength in depth that he can choose from Jesus and Aguero, and Aguero scored, and he's dropped Sterling today, and he's playing Sane, who Sterling had 2 assists last time. That's how strong they are. Again, coming to the end of the season, do you think this or do you see any kind of Pep kind of losing it because did not have a season or a start as good as it was, or did they expect it to be very easy initially?
No, I don't think they expected it to be that easy because Liverpool spent 200, close to 200 million in the transfer market. So they knew that everyone knew that the only team that could challenge Manchester City this year was Liverpool because the other teams didn't spend really as well. And there was a lot of turmoil at a lot of clubs, like new managers for Chelsea and Arsenal. So they were definitely not going to challenge for the title. And again, we had the likes of Manchester United who had, the signs of their performance was very evident in the preseason. And yeah, Tottenham could have been an option, but they spent nothing in the transfer window, and that is exactly what progress they're going to make. This season, they're still going to finish in the top four and not make any progress. I think Liverpool was the only team which had, a lot of intent. I think a lot of credit has to be given to the Liverpool board because I don't think they spent this kind of money under Brendan Rodgers or Kenny. They did spend money under Kenny Dalglish, but it wasn't spent well. But I don't think they made so many signings of intent like Van Dijk getting him in for 75 mil ball record transfer. That's a statement of intent, and then breaking the bank for Allison again, knowing that what the mishaps that occurred in the last Champions League final. So correcting that immediately with spending upwards of 60 million on a goalkeeper. So that I think it started really well for Liverpool, and Manchester City must have realized that it's not going to be that easy. And I think it is very difficult to motivate yourself to win the league again. Because I think it started yeah, it's become a little difficult because you don't really, the league's not as easy as it used to be. Because I remember that back in the early 2000s when I started following football, even if a big club had a bad season, they were guaranteed a top four position because the likes of Manchester City, the likes of Tottenham were nowhere on the map. So it was just Liverpool. Chelsea was doing reasonably well in the early 2000s before Abramovich came in. They used to drop in and drop out of the Champions League spot one year and the other. And yeah, and apart from that, Manchester United and Arsenal were, always there in the top four. So we also have to realize that the league has become very competitive, and you can't really take anything for granted. And Manchester City have really, in spite of having a very good squad, one weakness that I identify in their team is the lack of a replacement for Fernandinho. So if something, God forbid, something happens to Fernandinho, I think their title hope could take, severe damage.
That's actually a very good point that you make. Um, yeah, Tejas, were you speaking something?
Yeah, I'd like to add to the point that if I'm not wrong, the loss to Newcastle as well as Crystal Palace that City faced, it was due to the injury of Fernandinho. If I'm not wrong, that just goes to show that. And as if I'm not wrong, Klopp said this out that every winning team, every Premier League winning side has had a strong defensive midfield. That is probably one of the main reasons why he went into the market and got Fabinho as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
please go ahead.
that probably is one of the reasons why he got in Fabinho, and also one major. I think Fabinho is a good signing, but I think he is yet to be put under severe pressure because I remember in the game in the first leg against Arsenal,
Yeah.
he was put under severe pressure and he had a shocker. So I think teams have identified the fact that Jorginho tends to crumble under pressure and they are putting a man on him constantly. I think a weakness coming from the French league because it's played at a slightly lesser intensity, so you don't get that much you don't get that much time in the Premier League. So I think if teams actually realize that Fabinho tends to crumble under a lot of pressure. You give him time, he's going to play a fabulous ball down to the wing. He's good with his crossfield passes, one feature of his game which I really like. But if he's put under severe pressure, and if you actually have a man marking him, he tends to crumble, which West Ham did really well. I think West Ham in the game last 2 nights back, I think they really did a good job on not giving the midfield duo a lot of space in the ball, because of which the front three suffered because the supply comes from back to front, and he played a two-man midfield with Rana playing out on the flank. And I think the flow from the midfield to the front three was, I think, stagnated, because of which they didn't do that well. And I think Salah for the past two games has dropped a little bit, which is likely because he's only human. He can't score, a goal and a brace every game. So I think Salah's form needs to come back in the next two games for Liverpool to actually, really put Manchester City under pressure. Because if Salah starts banging in those goals, it doesn't matter how many you concede, because he is capable of scoring 30 odd goals a season, which is what Liverpool really need this season, I think.
That's a very good point, and let's add a bit of a fun element to this. So Tejas, if you actually wanted, because since Liverpool and City are the only title contend, uh, title contending teams currently, if you actually wanted like one or two player from the City squad to join Liverpool, and then I think this question will go to Prithvi as well. Who would you actually then want to take from them?
I would probably say Sane.
Who is it? Okay.
Sane, because he has that flair, he has that speed. You don't really find a lot of players who would actually look to square the ball in rather than you know strike it off to the goal. We have Salah, we have Mane to do that already, but we lost Coutinho, fantastic player if you ask me. Even today, unfortunately, he's not doing good at Barcelona. But even when he was with us, the assists came from him. He was the third passer to every goal, and Sane is someone who can do that for us. So I guess probably I would take Sane.
That's a very like pretty interesting remark made by Tejas. And what about you, Prithvi? Any player do you think that Liverpool can? Can City should actually get from Liverpool?
I think I would go for two players as of now, considering the current Liverpool situation. I think they've been a little weak defensively, and I think Laporte would really tighten up the defense, if because I don't think Matip and Lovren are at a level that they shouldn't be playing at a title contender, a club which is a title contender. So I think I would definitely put Laporte in, and I think the midfield issue is a big problem. So if Kevin De Bruyne at his peak form, because he's just come back from an injury, so he would be the first player I would want to get into that Liverpool side, because I think all they need is one attacking midfielder, and the front three are going to, they're absolutely going to, light up the Premier League, because I think that supply to the front three is very important. I don't think I would mess up the front three, because they have a very good chemistry. They may not be the best players. They may not be as probably technically as gifted as Sane. They may not have a player who's as who has a flair of a Sane of, or the clinical nature of a Sterling. But the point is, apart from Salah, of course. But I think that they have a very good chemistry going on. They just need that midfielder who would absolutely unlock the front three, and they would trouble a lot of Premier League defenses.
Right. So
Apologies to
very
Kevin De Bruyne, I completely forgot him. So Kevin would be my first choice, and Sane would be my third choice. Second choice being Kyle Walker, because we have our right back problems. We have James Milner for the time being. Klopp, no one knows as to why he actually gave Klein away on loan. Trent is injured. Joe Gomez is, he's said to be back in a month or two. So we do have our right back problems. So for the time being, I guess I would go for De Bruyne first, Kyle Walker second, and Sane third.
That's a very, very interesting list. Right. So brilliant discussion we've had till now, and I wouldn't ask Tejas currently whether he would who will actually lift the title after game week 38. But um, do you think by game week 31, 32, Liverpool would have the lead back to 6 points or more, or do you think it's going to go down to the wire, Tejas?
Uh, it's a Premier League. Anyone can defeat anyone here. Anything happens out of nowhere. Liverpool, yes, definitely they do have a run of easy fixtures, but at the end of the day, we all know how lethal City are. Liverpool, if we have our, the first 30 minutes are strong, Liverpool go on to dominate the whole game. But if by the halftime we don't have a single goal, then in the second half we do get the passes, no doubt. We have 80 to 70% of passing accuracy, but at the end of the day, the game never gets over. We fail to score goals as well. So I feel that by game 35 or 36, we would get to know if Liverpool are actually capable of winning the title. Just it just goes to say that some years ago we had the chance to win the Premier League title, but it slipped
Yeah.
away from us.
Slipped away. So, you would know that.
Bottle to be precise.
Prithvi, why I asked him about gaming till gaming 31, 32 is because uh, so Liverpool face United and Everton till the 31st, I think 32nd game week, and City face United and I think Chelsea. Chelsea they are facing next week. So two very big fixtures, title defining fixtures because Chelsea plays surprisingly exceedingly well against City, and they'll also play United at the Etihad, and Liverpool have United away, and Liverpool have I think Everton away as well, right? Yeah, so Everton away too. Yeah, so these two tough away fixtures, and City have so by 31st, 32nd game week they would have got done with at least Liverpool have got done with the big away fixtures, and then they have a little clean slate and clean strike at goal if you can call it. So in that scenario, do you think City will actually catch up till then, or do you think they'll catch up much before?
No, I don't know because if they currently I would like to inform Tejas that it's currently nil-nil, so you needn't worry about that. And Everton and City are tied at nil-nil, so I think if City win today, they're gonna have a psychological advantage because Liverpool do face Bournemouth next, and I think that. If the pressure, because it's been all over the media that they're fighting their own history, like Pep Guardiola said, they haven't won a title in 28 odd years, and I think it is very important that they stay mentally strong because everyone has every title winning team has had a small slump in between, so that's pretty normal. Liverpool are going through one right now, and I hope it doesn't. I mean, Liverpool fans would hope it doesn't go on for too long. But I personally think that there could be a couple of key matches which would decide the title, and especially the teams which are competing for the top four, because I think uh, there is competition for the first, second position, and there is competition for the fourth position between Arsenal, United, and Chelsea, and both City and Liverpool have played Arsenal in the second leg. So I think Chelsea and United could be spoil sports for either of them. And I fancy United winning against Liverpool because of the fierce rivalry they've had over the past, rather than them winning at the Etihad, because I don't fancy United as good as they've been in recent times. I don't fancy them going to the Etihad and getting a win. They might at best come away with a draw. But I think that I fancy United to actually win against Liverpool because they face them pretty soon. And if this slump in form continues, they have Bournemouth, and then they have United next. So if this slump in form continues, I think if United actually end up beating Liverpool, that could really be that final nail in the coffin for them.
Big call.
Like I'd just like to add that it's going to be absolutely horrible as a Liverpool fan if we go on to bottle the title against our beloved rivals Manchester United. And as you said, I completely agree to the fact that Ole has been a masterclass, absolutely fantastic football. Jose Mourinho used to park the bus, never got out the best of form from the players, but now he's giving the freedom to them, and just goes to show the potential that they have. And to be very honest, as a Liverpool fan, yes, it is a little scary to face United at Old Trafford, keeping in mind of the current form that they have. But again, I'd like to think of it in such a way that how long can Ole's success, how long can he maintain the same tactics? Because as far as I've seen, it's all out attack, and I guess he just goes on to motivate his players every single day. I just like to see for how long it keeps on going on.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's well summed up. Yeah, Prithvi, your final thoughts? on the
Yeah, my
before the
final
league game.
thoughts are that I do agree. Ole's team is not going to keep up with this consistency. But if you were to ask a Manchester United manager who's played with the club for who's had such a long stint with the club, he will know what that Liverpool game means. He will, probably the top four position and the game against Liverpool will be equally important to him. That is how important the rivalry has been, and it's not something of the recent past. It's been going on since a lot of years. So I think if there is one game that Ole's team is going to be up for, that is going to be Liverpool. They might fizzle out later. They might crumble later, but I think they are really going to be up at the best against Liverpool, and Liverpool really have to bring in the A game to actually get anything out of it. And it's also one major disadvantage for Liverpool is that it's an Old Trafford. So that is going to be a challenge. Liverpool are pretty good at home, but they tend to struggle away from home, as we've seen, especially in the Champions League. But they've also lost at the Etihad, and they drew against. They did draw against Chelsea as well. So I think in the big games they tend to come away with a draw or not not lose. That would be a good result for Liverpool. I genuinely think a point against United would be a very good result for Liverpool because that would mean one less loss, and every loss is going to count. And Liverpool have only lost once, so I think that is the biggest stat that
And
matters.
Tejas, before you close your argument for this, do you think City will beat Chelsea comfortably next week?
Uh, Current situation, yes, I would. I say probably 2-1. 2-1, yes. I would go for a Man City win 2-1.
All right, thank you, Tejas. And right, so we'll actually like to quickly jump on another game which is going on, and it's the El Clasico before we wrap up our session today. Um, Real Madrid have won the last five consecutively after I think quite some time now, and since last year is what I'm hearing, in last 12 months is the first time they have won, and uh, I don't know, is it still nil-nil?
No, no, it's 1-0. Lucas Vasquez scored in the 6th minute,
Oh my God! Okay.
and Benzema giving in the assist. Good work from Vinicius Junior on the left flank, and he played in a ball to Benzema, who squared it off uh, to Vasquez, who actually scored in the 6 minutes. And Messi he picked up a slight knock against Valencia, because of which he's been starting from the bench. So that means that Barcelona are playing a front three of Suarez, Coutinho, and Malcolm, who's been, almost invisible throughout the season in spite of Barcelona hijacking a last-minute deal from Roma. And I think that Isco again is on the bench. I don't know what does he have to do to get a game. I think it's his mentality, and if this goes on, I think there's a good chance that we might get to see Isco in the Premier League soon, because there are a couple of clubs who are really interested. Chelsea being, one of the front runners, especially if Eden Hazard goes away to Real Madrid. I think he would be a very good addition to the club, and I think all is not well between Isco and Solari, and that's a shame because I think Isco is one of the most talented midfielders and one of the most technically gifted midfielders in the game right now. So yeah, there are a few things going on at Madrid, but I think Solari has steadied the ship as of now, and Barcelona definitely, with Messi in the form he's been, with the 21 goals and 10 assists in, I don't know, 18 in 20 appearances, two of which have been from the bench. I think he is going to be a key factor, and it's very important that he stays fit, and for the second leg, because that is going to be the decider potentially.
Right, and they just Barcelona are actually now. Oh, I was just going to the table and it's surprising they are now only 8 points ahead. And we were hearing all sorts of news coming out from La Liga and from Spain that Madrid are having a terrible season. I think these last 5 matches, and last five wins in La Liga have actually have stabilized them, and and they are only a point behind Atletico Madrid and 8 points behind Barcelona. So is there any chance now that that Madrid can catch them to win the La Liga?
No, if you ask me, no, I don't feel so because they had the talisman Cristiano Ronaldo, who everyone looked up to, and they lack a goal scoring player now. Definitely, yes, they do have Benzema, they do have Gareth Bale, but at the end of the day, they don't have a world class player in their starting 11 right now. Before the transfer happened, obviously there was the Messi and Ronaldo battle event, obviously, and now they lack Ronaldo. They lack his presence on the pitch. The players, they do feel down. They are not at their best. Even Modric and Cruz, I haven't seen them play really well. And on the other hand, you see Messi. He's banging his goals every week. I'm pretty sure he's going to come off the bench and going to win this game as well. Been done. He has been doing that for quite a few games now. So yeah, I don't really think that they have a chance in the La Liga for this season, but definitely you can't take them for granted in the Champions League. There is just a completely different side to Real Madrid when they are in the Champions League. So I would say that yes, they're going to be better in the Champions League, but definitely not in La Liga.
Right, that's a solid statement then. Right, Prithvi, any closing thoughts before we end today's discussion on Liverpool and a bit about La Liga?
No, I think we've covered most of it. I'm continuously staring at my television set, and it's still nil-nil. Everton have defended pretty resolutely, and not a single shot on target by Man City. So I think, in fact, not a single shot on target in the entire game. So I think it could be that scrappy 1-0, and the luck going either ways could be vital for this game. And I think that I think a lot depends on the psychology of Liverpool, as I mentioned earlier. And this game could be a potential game changer if Manchester City end up losing this game or end up with a draw. I think Liverpool will feel that this is their year, which is a bit of a cliche because that's been going on for a long time now. But I think if at all City slip up today, I think Liverpool will go in with a major boost against Bournemouth, and they would probably carry it to the game against Manchester United as well. And I think with respect to the El Clasico, it's only the Copa del Rey. I think they would obviously want to get one up on their rivals, but I don't think it's going to have a major significance on the season and the season expectation. Yeah, it would mean a trophy, but not that Real Madrid and Barcelona have a scarcity of them. So I think it's more to get one on your rivals rather than having a substantial impact on either of their seasons. I think Champions League and the La Liga are going to be their pivotal parameters of success. So yeah, that's it from me. I
Tejas,
think we've
quick, a quick question to you, and I just came in my mind. How does it feel to support Everton today?
Uh, as a Liverpool fan, from the bottom of my heart, I hate Everton. But just for today, just for those 90 minutes, I guess I'll do with those. I'll do with that 1 point, to be very honest. And with the lineup that they have, it looks as if they want City to win.
Uh,
The hatred is seen on the
yeah,
team.
yeah, dropped Richarlison and
Left
Sigurdsson
out,
both, which is
left
surprising.
out
Yeah.
Sigurdsson, they've left out Richarlison. Probably the players that can win them the game, that can win them 3 points. They've left them out. So from one side it feels good that they are going to draw the match, but at the other end, there is that anxiety that City might just go and nick a 1-0 win probably at the end of the day.
Right, so that's what the world come to. United fans supporting City and Liverpool fans supporting Everton. So, on that note, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for giving us, and thank you, Tejas. Terrific insights into the Liverpool mindset and how they've actually grown into the season and the key players for them. And thank you, Prithvi, again uh, for for the deepened understanding of the game and adding value to both the La Liga and Liverpool and City title context. We'll see you soon, guys. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep letting us know what you all want to hear, and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you guys, you've been fantastic. Bye.
good night.
Good night.